Good afternoon. Welcome to our February Startup Grind Louisville Fireside Chat. We have a very exciting conversation today with Ricky Mason. Lisa's going to be our moderator for today. I can't wait to hear everything that Ricky has to share with us. This is going to be very exciting. So I'm Adam Robinson. I'm the director of the Louisville Startup Grind chapter. And before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors for this event. Amplify Louisville is our annual presenting sponsor. Larry and Mike have been huge supporters of what we're doing here at Startup Grind. Also, Render Capital, they're doing so much in this community and in our region. We're very grateful for their support. Citation Labs has also been a big supporter, and we're just grateful for everything that they've done. And then Strategex as well. And also, I want to mention to everybody, Startup Grind is, as a global organization, is having their big global conference next week. It's February 22nd through 25th. Normally, this is held in San Francisco, but because of COVID, it is a virtual event. This is an amazing opportunity for you to get plugged in to some high-level entrepreneurs, business leaders in the startup and tech community. So I'm going to post the link to learn more about this event and register for it in the chat. It's something that if you want to hear from some of startups leaders out there, some from a business and tech best, this is a great opportunity for you to do that. So look for that link in the chat. And with that, Lisa, we're so glad that you are with us today and are going to be moderating this. So I'm going to turn this over to you for the fireside chat with Ricky.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, as Adam said, for our February edition of Startup Grind. You know, for those of you who may not be aware, Adam and I direct the Startup Grind Louisville, along with our co-organizer, Austin Lopez-Severo. And we are part of, as you just heard, both a national and a global Startup Grind organization. So I think it should be noted that we're very fortunate in our Louisville startup community to have this particular entrepreneurial asset. And as you all know that our repeat attendees, we really enjoy getting to sit down and listen to the amazing stories and entrepreneurial journeys of those that we interview each month. And this month is no different. So I'm excited to talk with Ricky in just a moment. But again, thanks to all of our sponsors. And we'll just jump right into it. So Ricky, just so everybody has a little bit of context, just quick, as I know you're used to doing, just give us that quick elevator pitch for BrainSTEM University.
Yeah, so BrainSTEM University is an ed tech startup that provides STEM curriculum for K through 12 students. We provide curriculum mostly in digital media. We're focused in aerospace and providing our virtual learning environment for students to participate in STEM curriculum, you know, in person and online. So we provide kind of that, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's just dig in. So, you know, I'm very familiar with you and your work as a Vogt Awards recipient. And I know you're part of the Render family as well, and among other opportunities to hear you speak. But I really thought it was amazing. Tell us a little bit about your love of STEM. I did not actually realize you were little when you first, you know, kind of jumped into and just found this love of STEM education. Tell us a little bit about how that all began.
Yeah, so, I mean, it all began at an assembly in the 5th grade. My school had invited a IBM robotics engineer who came to do a demonstration, brought the robot, programmed it live on stage. And when I left that program and I got home, I just was like, Mom, I know the lawyer, the doctor, all that sounds good, but I want to be a robotics engineer. And, you know, that's what I want to do.
Oh my gosh, that's it. So you were 5th grade, probably about 10 years old, and literally in front of you, you've got this future that you can somehow see. But as you told me, you said, you know, there was some decisions your family made about school, location of school, your mom kind of thinking about what's going to make you most successful at 10 years old and through later, you know, middle school, high school. some of your educational choices. How did that go for you?
Yeah, so I don't think I would have had that opportunity had I've not been fortunate enough to meet a generous family who kind of paid for me to attend a private school, kind of in my neighborhood, which was kind of lucky. But I got to stay in my neighborhood, but I got to attend a private school, St. Helen, which isn't there anymore as a school. But yeah, I got to attend that school, and that provided me that first opportunity, which kind of led me on this journey, chasing being a robotics engineer and into, space travel and so on.
Fabulous. And so, as Louisvillians love to talk about, right? Tell us a little bit how you go from middle school. Now you've got, of course, high school choice to make. What was that like for you? How did that play into furthering your love of STEM?
Oh, yeah. So ending up at Butler, kind of following a few of my friends from school, I lucked up into an electronics program there. And at that point, I said, man, I got to take this opportunity. I got to do whatever it takes to get into that electronics program. So I just so happened to be in the teacher. You had to be a sophomore to get into that class, but I just so happened to be in the teacher's wife's Spanish class as a freshman. So I made sure that I did well in my Spanish class that year, and actually got into the electronics program, which was awesome and prepared us to actually finish with an associate's degree 8 to 9 months after we completed our high school diploma. So kind of put me on a trajectory to, at a minimum, be an electronics technician.
Yep. Okay. So, and by no means are you just single-minded in terms of electronics and engineering. You're quite the rock star athlete at the same time as well. Yeah. Talk about that. How did you balance all that?
Oh, well, I mean, I think the big thing in there is from the 5th grade where I had that kind of inspiration to kind of chase being a robotics engineer. I didn't really have any opportunities to really get into robotics or into STEM for that matter. I was really focused on football. Kind of 5th grade until sophomore year of college, football was my main focus. I mean, that really was the driver and what drove me to be successful and drove more the kind of just the mindset of, all right, I'm going to work for what I want, and I'm going to, do whatever it takes to win.
Cool. And I have to imagine that just being that much of a dedicated athlete, a lot of discipline is part of your nature, and you're applying that to both, those things that you love, your love of STEM and robotics and just the beginning of your engineering future, as well as, what it takes to be both football as well as a track athlete as well. So now you're thinking about college and, what your future might hold for you. You had a number of different decisions you were making at that time, where to go, what was going to be your best opportunity, right? I mean, we certainly now know that you hold a PhD, but this is quite earlier than that. So, how did that decision kind of help propel, I guess, your journey along the way here?
I mean, at that point, like we're on the startup grind. It was a grind, right? I'm working full time.
It's the name of this program.
Yeah. I was working in high school. Also, after school, I would be at work by 4 o'clock if I didn't have practice, and I worked until 10 to 11.
And what did you work at while you're balancing work and sports and an engineering curriculum?
Yeah, Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. All right, yeah, Pizza Hut.
Yeah, so my first kind of real job was at Pizza Hut. But I had one summer job where I got to work actually in a kind of a factory and do some kind of industrial engineering where we were doing some logistics. So I had that experience where we actually were able to increase productivity in the factory by 30%. Just by making some changes in some of the logistics things that we were doing there. So that kind of gave me some confidence in engineering in high school. But I worked at Pizza Hut and thinking about college and like, okay, how are we going to pay for college? And I knew, strong academic student, But my goal was to play football at the next level. So I had some interest by Division II schools, but I kind of had a chip on my shoulder because I had a coach had said, I don't think you're the player to play at Division I football. And I said, okay, well, I'll take that as a challenge, and I'm going to figure out how to play Division I football. So thinking about that, and with the scholarship to pay for that, in state, UK and Louisville kind of were my only two choices, because whatever school I was going to go to had to have an engineering program. And I'm not talking about a 3-2 program. Yeah, they had to have a full-scale engineering program. And with that decision, I decided to go to UK. And I got there. I trained all summer, and I said, I'm going to walk on to the UK football team. So
you're a walk-on, right? You don't know if this is going to happen or not. You just know I want to play D1 football. So this is going to be, an opportunity, but you're still not sure at this point, right?
Yeah, I took the academic scholarship, enrolled in the engineering program at UK, and trained. Shout out to my friend DeJuan McAfee. We trained all summer to prepare for that, and I went up to UK, and I think I ran my fastest 40 time ever. They clocked me at a 4.37 at the tryouts, and the rest, made the team.
All right, excellent. So now you've gone through, 4 years of school, and at this point, is entrepreneurship in your radar at this point? Are you thinking about, as soon as I finish with my degree in engineering, I'm going to go ahead and start a business? Are you thinking more about industry at this point?
I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. Like I said, I started selling things from the house, like pickles to kids in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Really? I wasn't aware that kids had this affinity for pickles.
Yeah, dollar pickles. You get the big jar. You can,
big deli pickles.
$20 off of $5 with the jar of pickles. So
that's a great margin.
Yeah. So I did that at about 8 years old. I started a lawn service at 13. I just had always an affinity for entrepreneurship. But in college, my big driver was I was just coming up with ideas, and my friends got tired of me coming up with ideas. Matter of fact, the Amazon automated grocery store, I was pitching that to all of my friends back in 2010. But
oh my gosh.
No one was on board with I had drawn out the whole idea with the scanners and everything. But so just being a creator and an innovator, it's kind of always been kind of more of my thing. But I knew I would be an entrepreneur at some point, but I didn't know exactly how it would happen.
Okay, so you're balancing academics, you're at UK, you're playing football. Any internships or specific, professors, anybody kind of guiding you along the way as you kind of hone down into what happens post-college?
Well, I think one of the biggest things there was joining the fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to my bros. That was just huge for me. Like before joining Alpha, I didn't know how to tie a tie. So for prom, I had to go to the store and actually have someone tie the tie for me. For prom. So I think that was one of the huge points for me in college. And at that point where I got injured, like I said, I walked onto the UK football team, but I got hurt in my sophomore year, and I had to quit playing. But still searching for that camaraderie, that group of guys with common thinking, and like I said, I landed in Alpha Phi Alpha, and that just, like I said, changed my whole kind of mindset and gave me a kind of more of a business mindset and taught me how to conduct myself in a business meeting and how to, plan events, meetings, and, kind of was really the start to BrainSTEM. I actually became the NSBE president right after I left the team. So kind of all these things kind of happened at once to kind of prepare me, I guess, for entrepreneurship. And I didn't even know I was being prepared at the time.
That's awesome. Okay, so then you decide, you're at that turning point post-college, whether to continue to extend your academic career, or you're going to go ahead and finish and perhaps, look for that next opportunity or start your first business. So as you exit from UK, then tell us a little bit about your path at that point.
Yeah, so at that point, I'm in the middle of a triple major, and I'm on the way to completing the electrical engineering degree, but I needed to stay another semester to complete the computer engineering and the computer science degree. But I had the CIA calling me and a job offer from NASA.
Stop there. How does the CIA just call you?
Well, I actually networking has been huge. I was at a conference and walked past the table, never thought of applying for the CIA with an electrical engineering degree and computer engineering degree. Didn't think that there's anything for me to do. I'm not a spy. So yeah, there's nothing for me to do there. So interviewed kind of at the conference, first interview, and yeah, from there it was kind of a long process, background checks and all that stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
All right. So what'd you do for the CIA? You're not a spy.
I helped the spy. No.
You helped the spies. No, so there you are. You're constructing the shoe phone or something like that for spies to use, or
no, more actually. Computer engineer. I dealt with virtualization and virtualizing all of our platforms.
Okay, very good. And then I know that a lot of people have heard a bit about, not only are you, football star, you're an engineering, rock star, but you've got CIA background experience and you've got NASA experience, right? Yeah. Does NASA just suddenly call you as well, or tell us a little bit about that?
All due to networking again.
I love this plug for the networking, right?
Yeah, but that's really that's my journey. That's how I've, in Louisville, who's really coming to Louisville to market for engineers, because, we're not known for having engineers or STEM talent in Kentucky in general. So those companies aren't coming here to, for our students. So you got to go to where they are. And that's what I did. I knew that most of these students that these companies are recruiting are coming from Ivy League schools, or, so that was my goal is, okay, you're not coming to me, I'm going to go to you. And right. That's exactly what I did. Like I said, again, I was at a conference, met the group from United Launch Alliance, and ended up with a job down at Cape Canaveral, living on the beach, actually Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach, there you are, in the middle of it all. All right, we've got CIA and NASA experience, but along the way, and as you're thinking and forming BrainSTEM, and I guess as the ideas kind of percolating, and I'm curious, was it one of those ideas that you wrote in your idea generation book, that you probably carried around? You kind of focus in on your desire to educate kids, right? So you're thinking about K through 8 or K through 12. You're going to really kind of work to make an impact on the fundamental or foundation of STEM education within kids. Why'd you decide on children, for example?
Well, while in college, I said Alpha was a big part of that. And we were responsible for programming. So if I was going to do programming, then it was going to be something that I was interested in. So while there, I went to my first kind of robotics competition. I had never been to a robotics competition until my freshman year of college. And while at that competition, I was inspired by 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds who are programming these robots, and I have no idea how to do what they're doing. And I'm supposed to be there as the STEM football player to inspire them. And I'm there inspired. And then I had to kind of look back over my life and say, wow, why didn't I do any of these things? And I just didn't have access to any of those opportunities, really. My mom didn't know where to take me. I remember the first thing my mom tried to do was take me to the Boy Scouts. And at the Boy Scouts, I think first or second week, they hand you a block of wood and say, hey, we want you to do this soapbox derby car. And I was excited. They were explaining it. They showed the videos. Then I got home and realization hit me that what am I going to carve this block of wood with in our apartment? A butter knife? So,
a butter knife, yes.
And that was the end of my Boy Scouts career. But so I made it a mission to, as a part of my programs, to go back and do that while I was at UK. So I actually learned to program those robots and started one of those teams while I was at UK. And we did STEM curriculum and programming at First Bracktown Church in their BMW programming kind of on the weekends through my fraternity and through NSBE. So I had the opportunity to kind of start doing these kind of programs and giving back. And I really loved it. I loved just seeing the spark, in the kids' eyes. And they do these projects, and when they just make those connections, it's just awesome.
Well, I certainly love how you were as inspired by them as I'm sure that they were, of you and this adult that is almost, in there, just geeking out over all of the robotics that you are both working and learning and advancing. So I've always been curious about how your interest and passion for wanting to provide these opportunities to kids, actually came about. So I appreciate that you've shared that. So now bring us up to current day, right? So BrainSTEM is your idea, your brainchild. So this is formed, your company is formed in 2019, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So is it just you? Are there others on the team or others that do you have a co-founder? How does this kind of get off the ground in 2019?
In 2019, we were actually started out in Lexington, just kind of pitching this idea to UK over the summer. So I guess kind of fast forwarding from work to working at UK as adjunct faculty, we had kind of found a need for, well, not a need, but we were trying to figure out why we were struggling to recruit and retain more students and why. And for me, I'm like, I was so excited about this. It wasn't easy. I mean, it was easy to get me to come here. You told me you're going to give me some money and all I have to do is maintain this GPA and I can do this. Okay, I'm here. So we were trying to figure out how to get more students, like me into the program. And had just so happened that one got dropped right in my lap. While I was at UK, someone sent me an email and said, hey, Ricky, I have a family that's just moved to Lexington and they're interested in getting their freshman son in engineering. And I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to teach a freshman. I'm struggling to teach these sophomores and juniors in college. So I'm like, I didn't think about it. I said, I'll meet with them and talk to them. But after meeting with them and them throwing some money at me, I decided, I'll meet with you on Saturdays once every other week and make that extra money. So I did that with that student while I was working at UK for about 2.5 years. And that from there, we tried to take that program to UK as a summer camp. It was unsuccessful. I think just the company just starting out, kind of UK didn't want to, the liability. So we kind of packed up our bags and I said, I'm going back home where I know more people and I can use my network and we'll figure this out. And also I had the real estate, going on back here too. So I was actually running 17 doors of real estate while working full time at UK in Lexington. So it was just natural to, come back to Louisville if I'm going to leave my job through the startup.
Okay. Now, were you doing the real estate full time and then BrainSTEM was sort of your side hustle at that point or vice versa?
Yeah. So BrainSTEM was kind of the side hustle and real estate kind of funded BrainSTEM up to this point. So that's kind of what I did when I left my job. I got my real estate license, and I started a contracting business, and we're off and running doing that.
Okay. So you have fully bootstrapped BrainSTEM, during this whole initial launch and whatnot from the real estate business.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're running BrainSTEM. Now these are in-person classes. And then suddenly, as we all know, early 2020, we're hit by a pandemic. Tell us a little bit about how you had to literally overnight, as all schools did, you had to really adapt to the situation for BrainSTEM if you're going to kind of keep things going. Tell us about that whole experience and
that was
what you went through.
Yeah, I mean, initially we didn't know exactly what we were going to do because all of our programs were in person. We had the after school program that we're doing, and we had the in-school program that we're doing. We had 100 kids in our in-school program.
Yeah.
We had the after-school kids. So we're hoping that school's going to get back in as soon as possible so we can finish the contract.
Now, were you like some of us where you thought, it's going to be a couple weeks, maybe a few months, and then we'll be back in action doing, as we were in person? Or did you have a feeling like, we need to really think about this and how we're going to kind of change gears in terms of delivery of curriculum?
I think me being kind of a futurist and having a different perspective on how things work, just working for the government in different capacities. I think I kind of prepared for us to be kind of shut down for a while.
Okay.
So after the shutdown in March, I kind of took I think our last day was actually March 13th was the last day that we did instruction. And I kind of took March to kind of think and plot and plan and to see what was going to be the best plan for us. And I said, we're just going to go online. That's what we want to do anyway. It's going to allow us to expand. It's going to allow us to just be more agile. And that's going to allow us to grow also because, doing the programming the way that we were doing, I was teaching. We had 3 other instructors that were also teaching along with me when we were in person. So, and then also Kara, our COO, and my wife doing the marketing and all of the print material, kind of all of the PowerPoints and slides. So we're going to have to change the way that we're doing business anyway if we're going to grow this.
Right.
So,
okay.
Over the summer, I rolled out that VLE. So in May, I finished.
So tell us VLE.
Oh, yep, the virtual learning environment.
Okay.
So I finished kind of the development of the first version of our virtual learning environment in May. And then from May until June, we marketed the course that we rolled out while I developed kind of that curriculum for that course. And we rolled that out with an 8-week summer program, intro to coding, computer engineering, had 30 students kind of in that class. And that was what led us to the fall, which was awesome.
Right. So VLE, the development of your virtual learning environment, it's fundamentally keeps you at the forefront of what you're delivering. What makes it so uniquely better, let's say, than any of your competition or any other programs that you're competing against?
Yeah, well, first off, I think the gamification that we're providing of our programs, incentivizing kids to complete these tasks and competitions, to purchase items in the BrainSTEM shop. Also providing, continuity in our programming for students. A lot of these programs, you get on, it's a 1 week kind of intensive, and then, what are you going to do with the skills after? We're keeping these kids engaged week after week with our programming. Like I said, building a K through career plan for these students. So when parents enroll their students in a BrainSTEM STEM magnet, they know that they're going to have continuity for at least a whole semester if they want, or in some of our one-off classes like the robotic space adventure that we just released, that's a 6-week thing. it's really hard to expect a kid, especially during a school year, if it's not kind of in school, it's an alternative kind of curriculum to
Mm-hmm.
be there every day and focused on,
Yeah,
their work.
yeah.
So I think how we're kind of spreading that out and creating that continuity for that student is creating a different community of STEM students. And then with our platform, allowing students to communicate, with instructors and other students outside of class, it's like I said, creating a different community that I wish I had. If I could access BrainSTEM, I think I would have met a lot of other robotics students and maybe found those programs when I was a kid. So I'm just opening those doors for more people.
Okay. So, let's say there's kids out there and, they might have this interest or this aptitude for a program that like BrainSTEM offers. How do they and or their parents, find your particular program? Is it they're just going to go to, brainstem.com? Is it through other organizations? Is it through school? Or what's kind of the channel by which they get engaged with BrainSTEM?
Yeah, so primarily our kind of direct to consumer, like homeschool parents or parents that are interested in supplementing their school curriculum with after school curriculum. Yeah, they will go through the brainstemU.com website, purchase that class, and then they'll be registered for the class where they'll access that class in the BrainSTEM virtual learning environment. So in the virtual learning environment, all your course materials will be there.
Yep.
Chat with your instructors, so on and so forth, will be available in the lead.
Okay, cool. So you've told us that at this point you've got additional instructors that are part of the BrainSTEM team. You've pulled in your wife who's doing all the marketing and communication and social media and whatnot, and you're developing curriculum. You're continuing to enhance your virtual learning platform. You yourself are delivering curriculum, which is a lot in and of itself right there. Anyone else that makes up part of the team, or where do you want to go with your team in order to really meet demand?
Yeah, so we've brought in David Miller as our creative director.
Okay.
He's helping us develop more of our content and move more into our on-demand kind of content, and where we're going with our kind of virtual production and producing some high quality kind of courses and curriculum and videos, inspiring kids, to chase STEM careers and get into these STEM majors and
Very cool. Very cool. So tell us about, who your best customers are, right? Who's really providing the most opportunity for you to kind of grow and eventually scale BrainSTEM even further? Where are you finding them?
Yeah, I think our best customers are those organizations that already have, kids, coming to them on a regular basis, on a consistent basis. So that would be nonprofits with after school programs, or schools that have after school programs, or even schools that want to add STEM magnets to their schools or increase, their STEM course offerings. I think one of the cool things that we're going to be bringing out in the fall is our STEM magnets, but survey courses where students can participate in a STEM class for 6 weeks, then they go to another STEM class for 6 weeks, into another STEM class for 6 weeks, so they can kind of get a survey and figure out exactly what they like, and then the next year they can kind of jump into, hey, I want to do coding, I want to do robotics, I want to do electronics. And that's kind of how one of the things that Butler did for us. We got to do the electronics class, a CAD class, and a keyboarding class kind of as a survey throughout the year. Yeah. And I decided, screw CAD, put me in the electronics class. So I feel like kids will, take that, and that's giving them some ownership in their curriculum. And also moving into the fact of, even if you have one group of 30 students, but they have different interests, if they're going to have a STEM class or a STEM hour, they can log into BrainSTEM, and those 30 different students can be participating in different STEM classes all during the same hour. Yeah. So some stuff that we're looking to offer with schools and after school.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to just kind of direct to our audience, everybody who's attending. We certainly want to allow time for Q&A. For any questions you have of Ricky, I've got a few more that I'm going to go through, but if you want to just go ahead and post any questions you might have in the Q&A feature of our platform, then we certainly want to make time for those and include those for Ricky as well. So go ahead and do that. In the meantime, Ricky, what's the goal for BrainSTEM? How will you know that BrainSTEM has really been successful, made that impact that you envisioned so long ago?
I think the goal with BrainSTEM is to inspire the next generation of creators and innovators, solving the tough problems that we have ahead. As we see, like with the coronavirus, like we're going to need more STEM professionals working on these problems. And I think that what success for BrainSTEM means to me is that every student in America is enrolled in a STEM program, because STEM is going to be pertinent to the jobs and careers of the students in the 2030s. And I'm not preparing the students for tomorrow. I want to prepare these students for the 2030s and the jobs that will be available during that time. I see there's going to be a huge shift in the way that we do business, as we already seen. And that shift is this is just the start of that shift. And if we don't involve all of our students in STEM, then we're going to be leaving a huge chunk of our students behind. And I know a lot of people give me slack about, hey, what about STEAM? And my thing is STEM is
the arts, right? Including.
But if you're the best artist, if you know, are using STEM as a part of their art, and the ratios that we know that come out of art are all STEM related. So if I mean, me as an artist, I didn't realize this even. I used to tell everyone, hey, I'm not an artist, until I realized that, hold on, I'm not an artist because I haven't learned the technical pieces of art and how, you know, art is technical and how to technically put something together. So once I learned that, then I'm like, wow, this is really STEM and math and geometry is what's making this piece beautiful. So
very cool. So what's the long-term business end game here? Do you think that BrainSTEM will be acquired? What does your exit potentially look like down the road?
Well,
or is there one? Is this something you want to continue and just continue to provide and, you know, grow and scale? And this is maybe long-term for you, you know, this is your baby.
Well, yeah, I actually could see this growing and being with BrainSTEM through the end, because I see school as a utility, and where we're moving with BrainSTEM and providing a virtual learning environment. I mean, what we're rolling out right now is just one piece of that. But what we're talking about in the future is a completely seamless experience from your mobile phone to a VR world, where students are participating in that VR world. And when they show up in that VR world, it means something, and they have a meaning outside of that VR world that's translated into the real world and into the VR world that other students can kind of see, and you can create a reputation from and be, you know, from in real life to the virtual world. So providing that online platform and continuity for all schools, I think that is a place where BrainSTEM could end up. And if we end up acquired before then, I hope that we'll still be working on seeing that mission through.
Awesome. Good. All right. We've got some great questions coming in from our audience, so I'm going to jump over to some of those. So John tells us this has been amazing learning about Ricky's story and BrainSTEM. Congrats on winning Venture Sharks competition. One question, did you have to leverage a technical partner to build the VLE minimum viable product?
No, so I developed the VLE myself. Like I said, my background is full stack from PCB to the cloud. So my experiences, and that's what's been beautiful about having all of these experiences, like I said, from working at the CIA to working at UK and teaching students and developing IoT technology, it's given me the skill set to, I mean, if one of the things that we have is developing our own robot that we'll be rolling out at some point. So but I'll be able to develop that and design, from PCB to the firmware to the cloud architecture if I need to. But hopefully we don't have to. We raised enough capital so that I can stop doing all of the development and teaching all the classes. So that's kind of what we're looking to do, is raise money so that I don't have to do that. But it's been awesome to, and I'm grateful to have the skill set to be able to do that. Otherwise, we would have been kind of dead in the water in March of 2020.
How long did it take you to build the platform?
Like I said, I started kind of planning and researching what we wanted to do kind of right after we closed down March 13th. I was kind of on the research trail by the 17th. Started Devon early April, and we kind of rolled that out, like I said, June, while I was in the class started June 17th. So
nice. All right. Here's another great question. Jonathan asks, and this is, I'm very interested in your response to this. How much of a problem does lack of attention and focus pose for your teaching? So I'm thinking about the kids, as they're sitting through, NTI all day, and now they're coming on and, it's more screen time, right?
That has been a huge question from parents. But what we're doing is we're giving them, more screen time. But if you notice, well, you won't notice, you haven't been in our classes, but during our classes, most of our kids are actually doing their work during our classes. They're not on the screen. Their cameras are off, and they're usually, like our robotics class, we using the flipped classroom. So while they're in our class, we're teaching a little bit, but they're actually doing stuff in our class. So they're programming their robot, hey, follow me along as we're doing this project, even if it's coding. So we're actually, giving the kids something to do while they're online with us, and not just watching us go through curriculum. They're actually working along with us, completing these labs and exercises while live.
Okay, cool. All right, we've got a couple technical questions. So if you can put them in plain English for us when you respond, that would be great. So, Matthew asks, are you building a full React site to deploy both native iOS and Android apps?
Yes, so we are building a platform that will be an app and a web app. But that's kind of just, like I said, the beginning. Where we're looking to go is more into the gaming and virtual worlds.
Okay, and then are you moving your backend to full React? No idea what that even means, but if that's a helpful question for you. I
don't know about our backend to full React. We may do some stuff on our front end in React, but we're looking to probably use AWS to allow us to scale more on our back.
Okay, great. So tell us one big lesson that you've learned so far, or one piece of advice that you'd give to entrepreneurs from your experience.
It's keep making moves.
And that's your hashtag, right? Keep making moves.
Yeah, that's the hashtag. It's just keep making moves, because you're always gonna have a problem to solve. If there's not a problem to solve, then you're not in the right place. So it's keep making moves, and if that problem is too difficult to solve, it's keep making moves to the next problem. But that's kind of my slogan, and I live by that. And I tell people, it's just, if you believe it, then go for it. Just keep making moves no matter what. And I guess people ask me, where did it come from? And it's comes from my mom. She told me when I was young, she said, Ricky, if you're not busy, you're in trouble. So I said, Mom, I got to keep making moves. So I'm not.
Keep making moves, and she's going to keep you busy. I love how much really positive influence that your mom has had on you. So I appreciate that you've shared that with us. Right. So we're about ready to roll into one of my favorite segments here with our rapid fire questions, right? Not meant for you to think long and hard about, but just quick off the top of your head. So what famous person, living or dead, that you'd like to have dinner with?
Ooh, I would say Kobe Bryant.
Oh, good choice. Excellent. All right. In COVID days, we're all at home. What's your snack of choice?
I'd have to say I've been snacking on Greek yogurt with fruit and granola a lot because I haven't been able to work out.
It's like very healthy.
It's true.
Some good protein though. All right. Biggest pet peeve.
Ooh, biggest pet peeve. That's hard. That's a hard one.
I'll let you think about that. All right. What's the book that's on your night table?
Joe Dispenza. Yeah, Joe Dispenza.
Okay. If your house was on fire, what are the two things you're going to grab?
My kids.
And those kids.
Yeah. It's boys. Yeah, I gotta grab the boys. But probably my computer and my cell phone.
There you go. There you go. Spoken like a true engineer. All right. Best gift that you've ever received.
Wow, that's a hard one. Best gift I ever received probably was my wife and our trip. Like, she surprised me with the trip overseas, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, that was just a nice experience and kind of eye-opening for me. I had never been overseas at that point.
Where'd you go?
Went to Cancun.
Excellent. All right, who are you getting curbside pickup from these days?
Martin's.
Martin's.
Martin's barbecue in the spot.
Okay, and what's your favorite menu item there?
I go for the half chicken with baked beans and green beans. It's the go-to at Martin's.
All right, shout out to Martin's. What's the nickname that your mom had for you?
My nickname, well, it's Ninja, but
Ninja.
Yeah, it's from Ninja Turtles because I was like all into like Three Ninjas, Tommy Cole. Those were like my bros. Karate Kid, that was me. Like and I still enjoy that with the boys now. That's kind of one of the things that we do. We do ninja training, and so that still
Ninja.
lives.
Awesome. I love it. Okay. I know you don't have a lot of extra time, but when you are watching TV and you're binge watching, what is it?
Well, I don't have anything that I watch really right now, but when I was my show was House of Cards.
Okay.
I loved House of Cards every season. My guy Frank, man, he's a bad man.
All right, and the last of my kind of rapid fire questions here. What's the first place you want to go when we're post-COVID or when it's safe to travel?
First place I want to go. I've been itching to get back down to Atlanta. So that's probably going to be the first place I go is to Atlanta.
Okay, heading to Atlanta, going south. All right, and then tell us what's something that we don't know about you. What little fun factoid is out there for Ricky Mason?
I guess always the fun fact is that I do music. I rap. So that's something that people don't expect to come from an engineer.
Hey!
So yeah.
Can we get a little sampling here?
Let's see if I got something.
I'm really putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
This is giving me great joy, Ricky, to do that.
Let me see if I can find something real quick. But the music is Mind Over Matter, kind of is our kind of label, our group. It's me and my best friend Dez.
Okay.
And I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but let's see. The song is called Dedicated. If it'll play, I'll give you a little sneak peek. If it'll play. I don't think it's going to play. My iTunes is coming up. Let's see. I'll close it and open it again.
If it doesn't, are you prepared? I'm really putting you on the spot. Prepared to do an acapella?
Acapella? I might be able to do that. Let me see. There we go.
You make it move.
We can hear a little bit.
Can you hear that? I keep making.
Not
I'm dedicated. I stay committed. The world is mine. I'm on a mission. Stay on my grind, cause I got lots to lose. Yeah, but I'll share the link. You can check it out.
Oh, will you? That would be excellent.
Yeah.
Love to have that. We want to hear more Ricky. And I'm very curious, what's the pillow say that you're sitting in front of?
Hey,
Hey, y'all.
hey, y'all.
Very cool. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing your whole entrepreneurial journey with us, all the way back to when you were literally 10 years old, 5th grade, your love of STEM, and then, of course, wanting to share that with all of the kids that have that interest and that aptitude, and also with your unique talented abilities within rap. And so we want to thank you, Ninji, so much for your time today and telling us and sharing with us a little bit about BrainSTEM. That's going to wrap us up for this month's Startup Grind. And so everybody who's there with us, go ahead and mark your calendar for the next Wednesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So you're welcome to wear your green for our next fireside chat, and we'll have information coming out about that shortly. And again, I want to thank our sponsors, Amplify, Citation Labs, Render Capital, and of course, Strategex. And Ricky, thank you again for your time today. We really enjoyed it. Everybody stay warm and stay safe. See you next time. Thanks.